From the WMTV studios, your news authority. NBC15 News at 5 starts now.
Now at 5, undesirable weather remains in the area, causing treacherous road conditions. We'll take a look at what the rest of the week has in store for us. Plus, road conditions aren't the only thing to keep an eye out for. Local emergency rooms are seeing an increase in patients due to slips and falls. And we'll have a live look into Governor Walker's 7th State of the State address, where he presented his outlook for the future of Wisconsin. Hello and welcome to NBC15 News at 5. I'm Meredith Barrick. Thanks for joining us on this cold, wet evening. Between rain, snow, sleet, and slippery roads, southeastern Wisconsin has seen it all in the last 24 hours, and it's not expected to end anytime soon. We'll be bringing you live weather updates with NBC15's team coverage. We have Christy Batista in Iowa County and Sarah Breckbill here in Dane County, as well as NBC15's meteorologist Brian Dubes. Brian, what can you tell us now about this weather system?
Hey Meredith, it looks like most of the precipitation is actually coming to an end, but we're not out of the woods yet. We have the gusty winds and the colder air that is beginning to make a return to all of Wisconsin. Right now in Madison, just above the freezing mark at 33. It's above freezing as you work off to the east, but much colder out to the west, even as cold as 21 right now in Prairie du Chien. You factor in the winds, which at times are gusting close to 40 miles an hour, and that's going to pose some problems. We do have a wind advisory in place for most of the area through about midnight tonight, as we could see some wind gusts as high as 45 miles an hour as we continue through the evening. On top of that, if it looks wet, it does have the potential to be on the slick side, as all of that rain washed off any remaining salt on the roadways. As temperatures continue to fall into the 20s, we could be dealing with some refreezing issues as we head into the overnight hours. Of course, something you'll want to keep an eye on. More active weather as we head through the week. I'll have all the details coming up in just a few minutes. Meredith?
Brian, thanks. The icy commute this morning caused issues on the roads, and many schools in our area to close. NBC15's Christy Batista joins us from Iowa County for a look at what it's like there. Christy?
Well, Meredith, Dodgeville's schools were closed today due to the conditions. But as far as the roads go across Iowa County, Emergency Management Director tells me not so bad. He says there were some crashes on 151, but the majority of issues seen were on city streets and township roads. Even those were minor, though. No one was taken to the hospital. He believes that's because drivers are getting smarter on the roads.
As we move through the winter, people learn to slow down as probably the biggest answer to getting from point A to point B in this type of weather is to slow down. And we want the roads plowed, we want them nice and dry, but the reality is Mother Nature doesn't always allow that to happen.
Well, as we all know, it's not over for us. It's still January, so the winter weather is not done. Officials say pay attention to the forecast every day so you're prepared for what's ahead. Reporting in Iowa County, Christy Batista, NBC15 News. We're going to send it on over to Sarah Breckbill for a live look at what's happening in Madison. Sarah?
Yes, Christy, I'm here on the Beltline just off of Todd Drive, and right now conditions are okay. It is really windy out here, and it's expected for temperatures to drop, so that's going to make for some icy driving conditions. Now, it's been a day of responding to weather-related accidents for sheriff deputies. Deputies have been on the Beltline throughout the day, seeing mainly spin-offs and a few injury accidents. Deputies say if something goes wrong during your evening commute, don't hesitate to call 911. They say when you're dealing with road conditions like this, everything should be treated as an emergency.
But I would rather help them on the shoulder and then move them to a safer location to help them with their gas, their flat tire, whatever, in a safer location than them just trying to deal with it themselves out on a roadway like this.
Emergency rooms have also been keeping busy. I spoke with a physician at Meritor, and he tells me they've mainly been seeing fractures and head injuries due to people falling on the ice. Now, Meredith, he also tells me that people who are taking blood thinners or cardiac medicine, and if they've fallen, they should be seen immediately. Reporting live from the Beltline, Sarah Breckbill, NBC15 News.
Sarah Breckville, thanks for that great advice. Governor Scott Walker laid out his accomplishments over the past 6 years and his plans for the future at the State of the State address in Madison. NBC15's Hannah Flood is live at the state capitol with details on that speech. Good evening, Hannah.
Hey, Meredith, that State of the State address wrapped up here at the state capitol just about an hour ago. And in that speech, Governor Walker praised the state of the economy here in Wisconsin, saying more and more people are heading back to work and more companies are looking for talented workers. Another thing the governor touched on is
our National Guard for all that they do within our
Wisconsin over the course of the session, and that's transportation funding. We know the state is short about $1 billion to fund some of Wisconsin's most important road projects. The governor says looking ahead, the state will provide local governments with the largest increase in transportation funding in about 2 decades. He didn't specify where that money would be coming from, but did say where it wouldn't.
We can do all of this and more without raising the gas tax or the vehicle registration fee. I will keep my promise that I made to the voters in the last election. Whether you agree with me or not, I hope you can respect that I'll keep my word. I just believe firmly that we were not sent here by the people of Wisconsin to raise taxes.
In the past, Governor Walker has suggested delaying road projects to cut costs or to borrow money to fund some projects. Democrats say those aren't long-term solutions and could impact the safety and reliability of Wisconsin's roads.
There was no indication that any of the transportation money, that is how he was going to get it. And if indeed he was going to pass that along as more debt for people so that he wouldn't have to raise the gas tax.
Democrats say they would likely support some kind of increase in the gas tax or registration fees, but they have not laid out any clear plan for transportation funding within their caucus. Now, another big announcement that the governor made in his address today was his plan to cut tuition costs for all undergrad students throughout the UW system in this year's budget. Now, still ahead, we will take a look at Governor Walker's plans to get more people in Wisconsin working. That's coming up on NBC15 News at 6. For now, live at the state capitol, Hannah Flood, NBC15 News.
Hannah, thanks. And President Barack Obama will officially say goodbye to the nation tonight in his farewell address. He's giving the speech 10 days before leaving the White House. During the address, the president is expected to offer another defense of his signature health care law. You can watch the speech right here on NBC15 at 8 p.m. Coming up on NBC15 News at 5, a new report was just released that ranks the worst metropolitan cities based on pedestrian safety. We'll tell you where Madison stands just ahead. Plus, have you ever heard people blame achy pains on bad weather? Well, new information might prove them otherwise.